Hey John, this video is brought to us by headphones.com. I'll be back later in the video to tell you more about it, but if you can't wait that long, click the link in the description box below. Okay, see you later.
High-res audio is pretty much dead for the mainstream. There, I said it. Now this is not me being willfully controversial. I'm going to present an argument. I think I've got 14 points here actually. 14 points as to why I think high-res just is never going to work as a mainstream concern. That doesn't mean it's not going to work for audiophiles, but part of my job, and I think part of everybody's sort of way in the world, is to think beyond yourself, to think beyond your own little sort of microcosm, your own little world, and think about people who might not have a kick-ass hi-fi system or might not care about these things. And I don't think that the mainstream will care about high-res audio in the near future. Now I'm going to base my argument on the present, what we have in the present. Not what we're promised, but what we have in the here and now. So reason number one why I think high-res audio will never be a mainstream concern is that there just isn't enough of it. So we know, and I know I've said this many times, over on Qobuz, Tidal, less than 10% of their library, and I'm being generous, is encoded in high-res audio. Number two, this one's a bit subjective, but for me, CD quality is good enough. It's good enough because it has not been subjected to lossy compression, so nothing's been thrown away. Yes, I realize that some CD masters have been downsampled, dithered from a high-res master down to 1644.1. But generally speaking, for me, CD audio is the sweet spot of high-quality audio. Number three, the mainstream love Bluetooth. They love not having wires for anything. And most of the time, Bluetooth can sound pretty damn good. Yes, it can. But what it cannot do is high-res audio. Even though some manufacturers are super keen to put that little high-res wireless sticker on their product packaging to sort of suggest that it can do high-res when it can't really, and even though mainstream publications like this week published an article saying that LDAC can do high-res audio and CD quality. No, it cannot. No, no, no. Bluetooth cannot do high-res audio. Can't even do CD quality. End of story. Number four, Android OS isn't high-res capable. Unless you're using USB Audio Player Pro, and I think one other player, you will subject all of your audio streams to resampling to 48 kilohertz. That's it. Although I think Tidal are doing something with their app at the moment to get around the Android OS's resampling. Number five, mainstream people love Sonos. But Sonos is capped at 2448. So no high-res for you.
Hey, welcome to the part of today's video where we talk about the sponsor, headphones.com. What you might not know about headphones.com is that they're the world's largest online headphone retailer. They sell products from a broad range of manufacturers. They've got you covered with open back headphones, closed back headphones, in-ear monitors, desktop amps and DACs, portable amps and DACs, portable music players, and so much more. And best of all, they offer 365-day returns. Amazing, right? You have a whole year to make sure you're happy with your purchase. For more information, click the link in the description box below. Now, back to the video.
Number six, audiophiles love to talk about high-res because it has numbers, and numbers allow them to filter things. And I guess the volume of the conversation about high-res is way, way too loud. But one thing that is pretty certain is that not even audiophiles can agree on the benefits of high-res. I think even the most ardent high-res enthusiast would admit that it's only a couple of percentage points different, or percentage points improvement over CD quality audio. Number seven, audiophiles would agree, I think, that you need a fairly decent hi-fi system or headphone system to expose the audible differences between CD quality and high-res. but you also need a quiet environment. I mean, most of us, when we're listening at home, we have a quiet environment. But out in the street, I'm not so sure. Number 8, one thing audiophiles will agree on though, is that the mastering quality of any recording matters far, far, far more than the delivery container. So a well-mastered 320 kilobits Spotify stream will sound better than a poorly mastered 24.192 file. Number 9, high-res audio started its life with niche services like Tidal and Qobuz. Tidal has about 3 million subscribers, but I don't know how many are there for the high-res library. Qobuz only has a couple of 100,000. In the marketplace, it's very, very, very niche. But that leads me to number 10, because Amazon announced their high-res service last year, but it really hasn't made a big splash. Not that I can see. We'll come to Apple and Spotify in a moment. Number 11, 320 kilobits per second Spotify or 256 kilobits per second AAC over Apple Music isn't as bad as it is made out to be. Journalists love to talk about how 90% of the information from the CD version is thrown away, but it isn't 10 times worse sounding. And they also like to say it's like having the Mona Lisa photocopied over and over again and then shrunk down to the size of a postage stamp. That's not true. It's like having a very good reproduction of the Mona Lisa, the same size, but you notice that some of the smaller details are a little bit pixelated. That's as bad as it really gets. Number 12, let's talk about Apple Music, because Apple have an opportunity to really push high-res audio into the mainstream, and they've blown it. And they've blown it really for 2 reasons. Number 1 is that even the head of Apple Music, Eddy, has said that he really can't hear the differences between lossy compressed Apple Music and lossless. And he also reckons that 98 or 99 people out of 100 in a room wouldn't be able to pick the difference either. And he's right, they probably wouldn't. So, you know, you kind of have to train your ears. You have to listen in the long term to really hear the differences, and it's not easy. It's not an instant wow moment. There is no wow from moving from lossy to CD quality, and even less so from CD quality to high res, assuming everything else is equal. Number 13, this is the part 2 of the Apple Music thing, is that their ecosystem, their software and their hardware is pretty much capped at 2448. AirPlay does 2448 and no more. It's the same with the Lightning 3.5mm DAC dongle. It's the same with an Apple TV. It doesn't seem that the Apple's ecosystem can support anything above 2448. So 2496, forget it. 24192, forget it. So I really think that Apple have blown the opportunity to push or make the mainstream care about high-res audio. But lastly, number 14, and this I think is the biggest one, is that in their announcement a couple of months ago, Spotify said that they would be moving their streaming service up a notch to a HiFi tier, and they will be offering CD quality across the board, just as Apple do now. But they're not going to do high res. They have thumbed their nose at high res for now. Like, remember how I said this is what we know in the here and now? Yes, they could turn it on in the future, but then we're back to all the other arguments that I've pretty much presented today, especially the vanishingly low high-res supply. So if Spotify, the biggest streaming service on the planet, don't care about high-res audio for their listeners, then I just don't think it will ever become, in the near future, a mainstream concern. Sorry.